Hey, I'm Ton Vin, and this is Seattle Eats, a food podcast from the Seattle Times and KUOW. Dozens of new restaurants are opening in Seattle this summer, but 3 stand out from the crowd. Their menus are all over the map. Classic fish and chips, high-end tapas, and innovative Asian fusion. But all 3 are important markers of how our local restaurant scene is doing and what concepts can survive in our expensive region. I'll explain why with Seattle Eats producer Claire McGrain, and I'll tell you what to order if you try these spots out. Ready? Let's go! Hey, Seattle Eaters! I'm in the studio with my producer, Claire McGrain. Hey, Clara.
Hi, Ton. How's it going?
I'm doing great. It's shortened sandals weather, so I'm out and about.
Yeah, I find that I do go out and eat more when it's hot, but especially what I do is I go out and get like ice cream or have a drink. I'm not even eating meals out. I'm just vibing around town. So you read a regular kind of column about new spots that are opening, and the one you wrote about at the beginning of this summer has 43 new places on it.
Yeah.
Is that unusual?
That is very usual because when you're talking Seattle summer, that's prime time for restaurants. That's when restaurants go out of hibernation because fall and especially winter are slower days, so they cut back on the hours and days of operation. Mm-hmm. When summer is here, even during a bad economy, foot traffic is high or higher than usual, and dining rooms fill up on weekdays, not just weekends. Our largest list of restaurant openings always comes around June.
That's a lot of places that are opening, though, right? Like, if I tried, I probably couldn't get to all of those in the next couple months.
Yeah, I think, let's see, there's 43 openings. I've tried at least 2 dozens.
Wow.
And that took a while.
So you picked 3 to highlight that we're going to talk about today. Why did you pick these 3?
For different reasons. One is like an insider secret, the in crowd, where they like to dine. And the other 2 I mentioned because there's a good industry gauge. It's what realtors and other chefs and restaurateurs are looking at in terms of how the industry is doing this summer. It's a good pulse.
I feel like we're really getting your industry insider brain on this today. Like, you know what people are watching for.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if the, quote, industry people agree with me. They might have a different take. But let's get to it. First one is Wayland Mill. Technically in Wallingford, although no one would say this is in Wallingford, it's kind of sort of near Gaswork Parks.
Yeah, that's such a weird part of town. Like, I always think of the Ivor's Salmon restaurant. It's almost in the shadow of I-5, that whole area.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's sort of a block away across the street from Ivor's Salmon House. The reason why I picked this as one of the big openings this summer is because of the chef, the restaurateur. His name is Yasuaki Saito. And if you have never heard his name, you will soon because he is one of the rising stars in Seattle. His claim to fame or his breakout moment was when he opened St. Bread, not too far from our studio. And it's really hard to get pastries at St. Bread. They're always sold out. But Saito and I happened to be in the green room getting ready to appear on the splendid table, and he brought 3 boxes of pastries. All his greatest
that was so nice of him.
Yeah, to feed all the guests and the crew, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about his encore, which is what the Wayland Mill is.
Yeah, I'm curious what kind of concept he's doing, because St. Bread really is a bakery. And, as you said, the studio is pretty close to it, but it's not really a place I would go for lunch necessarily. Like, they do sandwiches. It feels like more of a place that I would want to stop by on the weekend or in the morning to get a treat.
Well, has Mr. Saito got a place for you?
Okay.
The Wayland Mill is pretty much his follow-up in terms of bigger dinner and lunch menu. And what they do is Asian fusion, but it's not the kind of fusion we're used to. He does Japanese meet Midwest comfort food fusion. We're talking chicken and mochi dumplings. We're talking biscuits and gravy, with the gravy being a miso chasu pork. We're talking egg foo young on Japanese milk bread. So it's very original. We talked so much about this, Claire. What's wrong with Seattle? They don't take risks. It's really hard to do business here. So that's why everyone does smash burgers and pizza. Here is someone who has the credentials, who's won the awards, and he's really taking a risk with this. It's unlike any other menu.
Okay, so what on the menu do you recommend?
You know, when I went there, Claire, a lot of his stuff was sold out. It's a pretty good price point for Seattle, I would say. Most of the items are under $10, but keep in mind that this is more like choose your own adventure. A bowl of like rice with butter is like $3, but you can pair with like Canadian bacon with a teriyaki glaze or with an omelet with mirin and dashi. So even on a meal, it adds up to like $20 and $30, but it's an easy price point. Good baked goods, again, Japanese fusion baked goods like a coconut coffee cake with a salted miso caramel, and just cookies with sesame and pastries with toasted tea and whiskey custard inside.
Okay, that's number one, Wayland Mill in kind of Wallingford under the I-5 bridge.
Yes.
What's next on your list?
It's Mr. Fish from Tom Douglas, a very familiar name here in Seattle. This is certainly not his first restaurant, nor it will be his last. It's located right across from Pike Place Market. More than any other Tom Douglas restaurant, this is tailored exclusively, pretty much, I would say, for summer tourism. It is for the cruise ships that come during the summer, and it is for the increased foot traffic around Pike Place Market. And Claire, it is so lockstep with Pike Place that even though it's summer, Mr. Fish closes at 7 p.m. And that's just unheard of, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's just unheard of in Seattle for a restaurant to be closed that early. But what the staff told me was, well, we close at 7 even during summer because Pike Place Market closes at 7. It's more of a pivot. This used to be Seatown, and he pivoted and rejiggered it as Mr. Fish. The menu concept is pretty much still the same. It's sort of like Beach Shack inspired, or I would say Northwest Beach Shack inspired, which means that there's always going to be Dungeness crab and salmon of some sort. The big difference is what they did with the room, the interior decor. The patio hasn't changed much. They can still seat 50, but inside, they used to be able to seat 40, and now they can seat up to 60. But the big thing these are smaller tables that you can put together. If you have a party of 12, like in a cruise ship or family reunion, they can accommodate you. And that is what Mr. Fish is.
So interesting to me that the menu wasn't the thing they felt needed to change or the price point necessarily. It was physically how they were setting the space up and making it work for the people that they're trying to target, these, larger groups.
Yeah, isn't this crazy, Claire? Because you don't have a lot of restaurants in Seattle where you have a large patio, and this does. And this is a patio with a view of the water.
Oh,
so this is prime real estate.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because Mr. Fish is located in the Pike Place Market area, it's just associated with tourism. And that's how we see it. So we don't hang out at Pike Place Market during the summer because we're like, oh my God, it's a tourist trap or there's no parking. It'll be too crowded.
My hipster Seattle comes out and I'm like, I'm not going there. It's what all the tourists are doing.
But Clara, you should.
Yeah.
Because I know this is a topic near and dear to your heart. Their specialty is fish and chips.
I do love fish and chips, but I can be very picky about them. So how are they there?
Claire, I think this is one of the best fish and chips in the city. Easily. One, let's talk about the batter. This is old school beer batter. It's seasoned, I would say, with smoked paprika. It's battered with cornstarch and rice flour, which is a combination that you see in a lot of Southeast Asian deep fried ingredients. But I love it, Clara, because it's a perfect proportion from batter to fish fillet. Because you have this eggshell thin beer batter that's crackly and crunchy. And it's covering a thick Alaskan cod fillet that's flaky and still moist, you're going to love it, Claire.
I will have to give it a try because, as I said, I'm a big fish and chips person. And that proportion of batter to fish is so important. And I think that's when I have bad fish and chips, there's way too much batter or it's too cakey and it just kind of takes over.
The batter should not be the star of a fish and chip. It's the fillet that's the star. It should be the role player, the backup singer. And the reason why listeners out there notice the batter is because it's cheaper, right? It's cheaper if you have like a tilapia or a very thin piece of fillet and you heavily coat it in salted paprika, seasoned, or curry batter. And basically all you're tasting is something crunchy. You can't taste the fish. And that's how come most people in Seattle do not like fish and chips because it's not about the fish. It's about the batter.
Ton, is this a slight against Ivers? Are you starting beef with Ivers?
Yeah.
Okay. Powerful.
You know, Ivers has their fans, but if you want really good fish and chips, this is the real deal. It's about 3 fillets and a lot of fries for about $24.
3 fillets?
It's a good portion because the going rate really is 2 fillets with fries for around 20-some bucks. That's the going rate in Seattle. So this is actually a good deal, even though it's in a tourist area.
All right, so that's pick number 2, Mr. Fish down by Pike Place Market downtown. What is number 3?
Number 3 is a place in South Lake Union near the Amazon complex. It's called Loba.
Oh, you mentioned this last time I was on the show.
Yeah, you asked a very poignant question. That is there still fine dining in Seattle? Does that still work? And my reply at the time was, a lot of realtors and a lot of developers think fine dining still works in South Lake Union. And notice I said realtors and developers. I didn't say chefs, because chefs are not on lockstep with the real estate agents on this. The reason why realtors believe South Lake Union is a fine dining town, or can be, is because of the demographic. You have the 6-figure techies and Amazon people. La Loba is sort of like Barcelona tapas. It is located in one hotel. That's the name of it. It's one hotel. It's located sort of like above Whole Foods. So basically, they already have a built-in high-end clientele. One, it's a high-end hotel, right? So you have people who can afford to eat here. And 2, you have the business people who stay here who have an expense account. So they do have that advantage. But still, a lot of people are very interested to see how this place does, especially during the summer. For the people who follow the food scene, they care about La Loba because of a big-name chef. His name is Oscar Amador, and he used to work at El Bulli in Spain, one of the top restaurants in the world. He is also a James Beard-nominated chef in the United States. So that's why people are interested in this restaurant. But as far as industry people, they want to see how this restaurant does. In the past, South Lake Union could not support a sit-down restaurant, kind of like upper tier, because they did not have the late-night diners. When I say late-night diners, I should say 7 p.m. and later. And the problem is the wine theory. You need to sell booze and wine bottles in a restaurant to make money.
And I think when we've talked on this in the past, you basically said in South Lake Union, people don't stick around and have that bottle of wine even if they're going out for a meal. So is that changing?
And that's what we're going to find out at La Loba. In the past, the answer was an absolute no.
What was your meal there like?
I had potato bravas, which was around $20. I had candy smoked salmon crostini, and it was presented to me on a cake stand, and the server would lift the lid. There would be a cloud of smoke just rising as soon as they lift the lid, and you literally have to wait for the smoke to clear before you could get to the food.
So it's a whole experience.
Yes, it's very Instagram. It's kind of gimmicky. I don't love it when they do this kind of stuff. But of course, this is me and my get off my lawn age showing. It's more for the younger crowd because they're like, ooh, they grab their phone, they Instagram it. I would say that for all their pageantry, the pomp, $20 for 2 crostini, it's a little salty, I would say. They need to dial it back a little bit. The best thing I had a third tapas, and that was sort of like fried octopus with some fritters. And that was around $30 a tapas. So 3 tapas, 1 cocktail. I think my bill was around $130, $140. I wouldn't say that was a big dinner, but you can eat cheap or you can get a good deal here. They don't mention it on the menu. You have to rely on your server or have an eagle eye, but they do a tasting menu, Claire.
Ooh.
And it's pretty much, I would say, a 4-course menu for $85. And you get tapas to start, you get some other shared plates, and you have an entree, fresh pasta or braised beef or pork chop, and desserts too. So it's a good deal. Yes, it's high end, but if you want to try this restaurant, if you want to check out this big name chef, tasting menu is the way to go.
Okay.
Don't go on Saturdays. They are packed.
Oh, gosh, I can imagine. Yeah.
So that's a good sign for South Lake Union. It's a pack that they do pack it in. But keep in mind, this is early still. They just opened. It's new and shiny. Come talk to me when it's fall, and we'll see how this restaurant does.
Yeah, so when we hit the fall, you know, you said that these places are going to be kind of a gauge for the industry. What does success look like, right? Like, what would be a really good sign once we get to fall?
I would say even a little bit before fall, this is what I would look for, and this is what other industry people look for. First, if we walk around for dinner on a Monday and Tuesday, we should see a lot of restaurants opening. During the fall and winter, most restaurants close or have a limited menu on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, or they don't even open at all. So what we need to see, what I need to see, and what industry people need to see is, are more restaurants opening on Monday and Tuesday? 2, do they have extended hours? Kitchens in Seattle close early because the restaurant industry is struggling. I should not be hearing last call at 8 p.m. during the summer because the beauty of Seattle, right, is like it's 9:30 and there's still light out. If it's 9:30, I still want to be able to eat in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so those are the indicators that people should look for.
Okay. I think I can do my part. I think I can go get a beer and have some fish and chips. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to support our restaurant industry.
Claire, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ton.
That's it for today. We have a list of all the restaurants we talked about in the description of this episode. Thanks for listening to Seattle Eats. The show is a production of Seattle Times and KUOW, part of the NPR network. You can support Seattle Eats by investing in the local newsroom and the specialized beats that make this storytelling possible. Please consider joining and subscribing at KUOW.org/eats and SeattleTimes.com. Seattle Eats is produced by Claire McGrain and edited by Jim Gates and Trevor Lensmeyer. I'm Ton Vin. See you next week.